So hopefully you can hear me, but right now I'm speaking on the topic about Section 8 housing. I guess it could include public housing and stuff like that. I don't really know all the correct terms, but I do be hearing the term. Sometimes people be saying, that's Section 8. What kind of Section 8 witchcraft and this, that, and the other. I don't know where that originated from, whatever. But I will say this. When I was younger, I know I lived in different forms and types of Section 8 housing. Probably started off in an apartment when I was real young, with my mom and stuff. But of course, I don't know all the details to that. But then I remember staying with my grandma in a house on a certain road or whatever, and I'm almost positive it was Section. I know it was because she mentioned it before, and she said that her ex-husband had called and reported her and stuff like that because she had somebody living with her, I guess, that wasn't supposed to or something like that. I don't know. But so for a lot of my life, I did live in Section 8 housing. That's all I knew. But guess what? When I was young and growing up, I didn't know that it was a difference from any other type of housing or anything like that. I just know that I was being provided for, taken care of, and had somewhere to go home to, had a roof over my head, and I was just grateful for it. So, I'm kind of speaking on this because I just see a lot of people that like to insult people and look down on people who have it, or just it just be so much craziness, and so just kind of expressing my thoughts about it and some of my experience with it and stuff like that. Um, what I know now and understand now is that people worked into it. I know it is, I'm sure funded by taxpayers dollars, but people worked into it and paid into it. And in my case, I have grandparents, parents who are taxpayers, and then also myself have worked into, paid into. So what's the problem with when you pay into something, or even the generations before you pay into something? Ain't it there for you to collect? Why should anybody have anything to say about when and how and all of that stuff? You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not abusing, which I don't even understand how you can abuse it. I guess because I'm not one to abuse it, but um, I don't know. I guess unless you're taking advantage or something like that, I don't know. Because honestly, you're supposed to take advantage of opportunities that are for you, and so um, definitely not gonna get into the history of how Section 8 housing and stuff started. I've done my research and I've looked some things up, but again, people try to attach like negative things to it, and so I'll just kind of speak about myself. How I, when I was 19 years old, I got put out in a subtle type of way. It was a subtle type of way, but and it was seemingly more helpful. And I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I thought it was highly beneficial back then. Now I look back and I'm like, something better could have been done, something more could have been put in place or whatever. But it's like I took a cheap deal or whatever, and I left and I got out. And so, of course, I had to maintain. Once I got out, I had to maintain a job to stay out. And I was already working at Subway, which, of course, I'm bringing home maybe $300 every 2 weeks, $300 to $600 every 2 weeks. But I don't even think it was that much because I was working part time and I was going to school. I was just making enough to pay rent for a studio apartment that was like $345, and then of course had to keep the lights on, the water on, all that stuff, and put gas in the car and pay car insurance and stuff like that. That's when I was young. I didn't have a child, but it didn't take me long after I was out to get pregnant with my child. By this time, I moved to another place. It's probably about 350 to 375 studio apartment. Got pregnant there. That was a studio apartment. Um, as well. It was just a different one because they tore the old one down. And I was still dealing with her dad, he was 19. He was still staying at home with his mom and whatever, running the streets and stuff like that. Definitely not helping me, but I ended up getting pregnant. Um, and then I moved to, because to prepare for, and I was doing all this, still working at Subway, still pretty much making the same amount. I mean, that man didn't even want to give us a raise when the minimum wage changed to 7.25. I was making six something. So basically, I was a slave, didn't know it, but I didn't feel over. I can't say this. I didn't feel overworked because I've always paced myself to make sure that I'm not gonna overwork myself for nobody. I did feel tired often because I was still interacting with her dad. I probably could have invested more energy in working instead of doing what I was doing, laying up, laying down, laying it. What is it? Lay it low and spreading it wide. Um, but yeah. What was I say? So in preparation for my daughter to come, I wanted to get a 2 bedroom. So I that was my mindset. So I went and I was still renting from the same people that I've been renting from the whole time. I never changed my rental agency, and found me a 2 bedroom. I think, gosh, that might have been like 400 to $445, something like that, something along those lines. And just looking back, again, I'm still working at Subway, and then eventually 2000 and what was it? 2008, I left Subway, or 2000, yeah, 2008, and then about a week later, at the end of 2008, I got a new job, and then I worked there until 2010, um, until they started downsizing and laying people off or whatever, and so me during the time that I had my child, yes, I did go. Well, when I was pregnant with my child, I went and got on the waiting list for Section 8 or public housing. Like I said, I don't know what all, because I just thought that was a smart thing to do in case anything came up or changed or anything like that. Wanted to get on the waiting list because, hey, you know, it's available for me. It's legal. It's legit. It's not doing anything wrong. And I knew that I needed help. I knew, of course, I felt like I didn't want to go back to my parents' house, but I knew I needed some kind of help, some kind of, and at the time my mindset wasn't, well, people have worked into this and paid into this, I should be able to collect it or whatever. Now it is, but, um, um, I got on the waiting list, and then probably, yeah, about a year or two later, I got called and told that I was selected, my position and stuff came up, and that was, by this time my daughter was 2 years old, and so I went through the process, and I went and searched for me a place within the allotment that they gave me, and found me I hope you can hear me, but found me a house, a 3 bedroom house. I really was only approved for 2 bedrooms, but the they were fine because my price range was a certain amount, and what I found in that amount, it was a 3 bedroom. So, you know, to me, to this day, I just feel like that's what God had for me because He already knew that's what I would need at some point in time, or whatever the case may be. Because, of course, at the time, it was only me and my daughter. And so we would have been fine with 2 bedroom, but I just feel like God already knew in my future that she gonna have some more kids. So, Um, I mean, not feel like he knew. He did know, but yeah, and I didn't know, and I wasn't planning for other kids or nothing like that. I definitely wasn't. I was just trying to focus on taking care of her. So doing all this and still going to school. So of course I got laid off in 2010, and to me it was right in time enough for me to be able to utilize that assistance that was in place with what comes along with Section 8 or whatever. So again, to me, that's God. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, but people sit around and have conversations about it. They don't really say nothing to me, to my face about it, but people have things to say. Um, um, gosh, what was I gonna say? They have things to say. Well, I can go into detail. Like the guy who I was dealing with for the 8, 9 years, who I ended up getting pregnant by twice and having 2 of the kids, which 2 of the kids are housed by the Section 8 house. He also laid up here, slept here, and all that stuff for years. Took showers here, so it benefited him. It helped him. He was always safe, always protected, always peaceful, always fed. But he was one of the ones that was saying stuff, and I really feel like he was mainly saying stuff because he was sitting around other people, and in their ignorance, in their discussions and stuff, they would talk about me or say stuff. And so some of the comments I heard was like, you need to you don't know what it's like to pay real bills. And like I'm sitting here like before I got here, I was paying all my bills or whatever. But yeah, just comments like that. You don't know what it's like to pay real bills and stuff like that. So people will start making comments, and then they will get jealous off of what they think they know. They don't even understand what's really going on. But I was just appalled because you're a person just laying here. You're benefiting off of me. I'm the type of person, if you benefiting me, I'm not about to say nothing about if you happen to put a roof over my head and I'm safe and all this and I'm fed and I'm eating with you and this, that, and the third. Why would I complain or start looking at you sideways like I'm better than you? And this is a person who went out and got an apartment and stuff like that too, but never maintained it for more than a couple of months. So he always moved in with females or whatever. But I'm just sitting here like, how dare you even go sit around? Why would you even keep your ear tuned to people that's speaking about stuff in a certain type of way? The other issue is that I was so young to be doing it. Now I know a lot of girls that do it. They get apartments and they live in the projects and stuff like that. And again, I'm not saying that this ain't the hood, because I know now it's definitely some hood about it. But that wasn't my choice. That wasn't my mindset. I didn't want to go. I didn't want an apartment, and because I wanted a yard that my child can play in. I wanted room and space to move. I didn't want drama. I didn't want close next door neighbors that we would just have issues and stuff with. And granted, we still got some of that, but when you're in your own yard, it's something different than when your porch is right next door to your next door neighbor because y'all in the same projects or apartments or whatever. And that was just my mindset. That was my choice. And so, it was those comments like that was made. You ain't paying full bills, but the funny thing is, full bills keep on coming. Water bills, light bills. So yeah, and they gotta get paid some type of way. So whatever to all of that, that confusion or whatever. And then, but talking about the rent amount and stuff like that. Okay, this is what God sees fit for me to pay. It doesn't matter the amount, what you feel or whatever. And some of the same people that be speaking on how much somebody pays and stuff like that be the same ones that be like, they're supposed to be against abortion and aborting a child, or they the ones that will contribute to a GoFundMe or something like that. But if they see you and feel like you're getting some kind of government assistance, they automatically assume that you're lazy, feel like you're lazy. How about sometimes, especially in my case, you can just be tired. You're tired already from shit, from birth to from just being born in this crazy world till adulthood. It's a struggle to get to certain ages. So, sometimes people are just tired. Then you don't know what people went through behind their closed doors. Like, just with my story, I have been raped. I have been verbally abused. I have been physically abused. um, Sometimes you just tired. It's not easy to recuperate from that stuff and just go into a actual physical workplace the next day or even the next week after you've been through that. Some tend to think that only death is the thing that affects you and will have you so down and making you feel like, oh, I might can't go to work today, I can't do this. No, and then this happened to me on a consistent, almost daily basis. The verbal abuse, the rape, the when I was dealing with my daughter's father, physical abuse, people ganging up on me. Um, what else was it? Yeah, people ganging up on me, trying to bully me and stuff like that, trying to get me to bow to what they want me to do, what they want me to do. I'm gonna keep on talking about it, but oh Lord. So yeah, I'm just like, y'all need to start keeping y'all mouth off of people's situation that have nothing to do with you. Or if you're up close and personal, you want to talk to the person and find out the details and learn to be accurate for one, and stop being messy. I'm gonna move this for a second because I got some stuff I need to do. But yeah, stop being messy and Stop being messy. Stop being, again, meddlesome. Stop watching somebody else's situation that you're not trying to benefit and help and support. You just want to criticize. And then it's just so crazy if you actually are one of the ones that's benefiting from what they're utilizing. you can even form your lips and open your mouth to start talking some mess. Don't even know how stupid you look. Like, you really look mentally challenged. You really pretty much are mentally challenged or whatever. So, like I said, in my case, it was stuff like that went on that it made me feel exhausted and tired. So, you have the mindset like, oh, I want to get back out there and do this. Not to mention the good things, the pregnancy, having children. To me, it's just a blessing. Now, of course, doing it out of wedlock, that's a whole nother thing. But the blessing of carrying children and having children, that wears on your body or whatever. And every woman is different. Some women can hop back to work and this, that, and the third. Hold on for a sec. But yeah, some women can hop back on